okay? I woke up here in this apartment with a good friend I hadn't seen since I went homeless to begin with. And my advice for surviving the third winter homeless comes from Lil' Kim. Lil' Kim and that Get Naked song. It's Come On Baby Make It Hot. And I am right now making hot toaster strudel. He's making some candles later. Whatever. So I'm making toaster strudel and then I'm going to that dentist appointment. I'm coming back here because when you get numbed up to everything for a dentist and then going again, like it's all you can do one day, whether you got a home or not. You know, I'll be here for a day or two and it'll be on to somewhere else. Come on, baby, make it hot. That's what you do for your mental health. That's all you can do. Because my pastor's wife, Judy, just decided to throw me away because it's too hard to deal with the fact that I've outperformed all the boomers. And she can't deal with it. She's a boomer too. She's got a son in prison, serving a life sentence. He killed 2 people. Maybe they were boomers. I don't know. I'm here at the bus stop and I wanted to do a kind of a follow-up video to what I just did. Come on, baby, make it hot. Because I know, like, nobody out there is really believing in me anymore. And, like, I'm going to the dentist. I'm not going to a crack house. I'm going to a dentist because I believe myself. I believe in having healthy teeth. You know, I have a backpack with me. I'm going to load it up with food. And I've got my 2 backpacks worth of stuff with a man that I trusted last night. And when I first came back from North Carolina, when I first went homeless and never knew I was going to be slingshotted back to Denver. But it's like, why am I being so hard on the boomers? Well, because they're awful people. They are the ones responsible for a lot of the stuff that's happened, including when I was a child in 1997, when my parents decided to get divorced, and all the boomers that are bad now were bad then. They ain't changed, okay? They're just still being ineffective, not leading, complaining to me, and not really being good people that probably never could have done what I already did. Worked 1 year, 1 day for Chrissy White to come out here and never get trained, and then work 16 more jobs before then becoming homeless again, after my father made me that way in 2016. So I'm here waiting about 20 minutes for a bus to take me to my dentist appointment. I'm coming back. I'm gonna feel awful. I will not feel good. And I'm gonna stay with this man again. I wish I could tell you more of the story, but like, things are bad. Things are real bad. Things are real bad. But this is the best option. And just sleeping next to him and knowing he cares meant the world to me. And that's what people need to be aware of. It's like, I'm still trying. I can get help for my tardive amnesia. You know, people wouldn't let this happen to their children, but it's okay if it happens to me. My dad just painted my soul and put me up for sale at a painting for $8,000 in Transford, Pennsylvania. That wasn't okay. It would never be okay. And I will keep telling everyone about that for as long as he lives. As long as my father is alive, he's going to be walking through fire for me because he's sleeping with a 7-year-old boy. And there's just nothing I will ever feel bad about that. For me, he should be feeling bad, and I feel awful for that 7-year-old boy. And I don't understand why reality is so hard for the boomers who should be stopping it. But it is because they're just not strong people. That's just all there is to it. Before I go further in this video, how about we just acknowledge the fact that boomers did screw it all up when they took a chainsaw and put titanium in my father and he came out some Frankenstein sleeping with a 7-year-old boy. Do you think for a second that that could be possible? Because Dr. Cousins, another fucking boomer, never did say, sorry, here's the best we could do. Here's your dad. He's sleeping with a 7-year-old boy. Sorry he made you homeless before even all this shit happened. And sorry we're just putting all this shit on you now. No, he never did any of that. It's absolutely what happened. My dad never touched boys like that until 2023 when I got back there, and he was absolutely doing that. Do you think that I'm making this shit up, or does it seem real enough to you now? Because it's what happened. And I'm dealing with all of this, and I'm dealing with Judy Loudermilk, my pastor's wife, who just can't even deal with, like, I don't know, a toaster. I'm having to deal with this shit. And my grandmother, praise the Lord, I feel so much better saying that, my grandmother, Fanny, had the option to have her chainsaw just messed up, put titanium in her. She said, hell to the no. Praise the Lord on the greatest generation for doing what's right. And knowing what's right doesn't change. We ain't got this stupid millennium figured out. And we don't belong in an operating room with my father and Dr. Cousins, and all this shit that happened in 2019 is directly responsible for the shit going on now. Here's the rest of this video. Oh man, I'm glad that that bus stop stopped me here because I'm actually doing a transfer to get to the dentist. I gotta take a 22-minute transfer right here at this bus stop, Mississippi Avenue, and some other street. But here's the bus stop I was at. I'm so glad this happened because this is the bus stop I was at. And you see the Rockies behind me? I'm not sure if you can see them the way this camera is, but there's beautiful Rocky Mountains. This is actually a really pretty shot. You can see the whole ridge right there. Here, person, I don't know if you can in the video, but I was right here. This was one of the last stops I was at before I went back to West Virginia. When I told my dad, I said, Dad, I want to come back. He called me on Christmas Day last year, and I waited until I was still trying to stay here in Denver. I got robbed one more time, and then I was at the Southmore station, and it was so cold and windy that the wind almost blew my jacket off. And that's when I called him. I said, Dad, I'm going to come back. I said, can you get Cash App? And he said, yeah. Tom Acosta lies. Like Alyssa, I never got Cash App. I got back to West Virginia. I don't have a bank account. I don't see the use for it anymore. And then he said, I wish things were still like they were back before we got divorced, Nathan. And that's when I know you's still in there. The real you's still in there a little bit. And part of him is sleeping with a 7-year-old boy. And he needs to be in prison. But, going back to this bus stop here. So I was right here. And back then I had another phone. The kidnapper stole it. But I didn't have a good charger. And I remember, so this is the part I want to make in this part of the video. Is, I told my dad, I was like, I need some money on Cash App so I can go get a phone charger here at the Apple store here in Denver. And he said, we'll just figure it all out when you get here, Nathan. And what he was referring to was, we'll just go to Washington, D.C. from Bluefield or wherever in Summers County he was staying. We'll just go to Washington, D.C. for a phone charger. My dad couldn't get the vehicle that he never paid for off the mountain. And none of that shit's my fault, but that was my dad supposed to be helping, and he couldn't. You know, it's just this whole, double standard of boomers of no matter what I do, my dad thought it would be okay to not help me get a charger here. He thought the appropriate thing to do would be get a phone charger in Washington, D.C., and he couldn't even get the vehicle he never paid for at a home he never paid for off the mountain. And here I am, still surviving my 500 days later with a phone. I got a phone charger in my backpack. I'm going to the dentist. I'm doing everything Judy Loudermilk never did for her kid, who's in prison. Never going to get a phone charger in Washington, D.C. either. And it's just like, I'm glad I have a 22-minute transfer right here. I'm glad I can see the beautiful Rocky Mountains because I always try. And that is what this is all about, really. It's people that do try and people that don't. And I have nothing to be ashamed of.